Talking about. I am so excited to be here. Y'all just don't know. I walked through the galleries. I went through all of the ARTFields Jr. galleries, and y'all, sometimes I was moved to tears. And I was like, oh, I'm here. Here's my tribe. Here you are. So, this is what I know about the life of a creative. You get an idea. I mean, it could have come from anywhere, a story, a problem, something you saw out the car window, a song that's stuck in your head, an assignment somebody gave you. Whatever the origin is, you have an idea, or maybe it's a question that arises from the world as you see, and you say, why is this like this? You got a feeling, and you have questions about it. Or it could have been the material first. You could be one of those wonderful, lucky students, and many of you are, who have art programs in your school. And somebody put a lump of clay in front of you, and you're like, You put your hand in it, and you're like, ooh, what can I do with this? How can I use this thing? You want to know what it felt like. You put your hand on a piano key, and it said, ding, and you said, what's next? Or photograph, or maybe it's the smell of jasmine in your backyard, or the smell of bacon in your kitchen. Or maybe, like me, you're a child sitting in the church and your daddy's on the rostrum, but behind him there's a man getting ready to sing in the choir loft, and the light is hitting his face, and it's doing these shadows out of his cheekbones, and you say, wow, can I do that? The thing is, when that idea comes, nobody can see it or hear it but you. It's in your head. It's in your mind. I can't look at you and tell you what's going on with that spark of that idea is, but what you know is that this thing has got to move up out of your head, out of your hands, out of your throat, wherever it is, and into the world. And you figure, ask a question, well, how can I do that? And you look around to see what tools you have to make this thing in your head come out. And maybe it's a pencil or a brush or Procreate on your tablet, or a shovel in a pile of dirt, a mound of clay, a bag of flour, whatever it is you think, I might be able to use these things to make this idea into a thing. And you began to experiment, to explore it, to interact with those tools, these materials with curiosity, to do this, to learn how to use those things you've put your hand on. And you might start off probably by copying something you've already seen, following a YouTube tutorial, or trying to do what you saw your friend do. Try to copy the painting you saw. Try to follow the recipe exactly the way it's written down. And you think, this is cool. I'm learning how to do this thing. It's you're practicing, you're experimenting, it's you're in a laboratory. And you're learning how to use those tools. But the things you're doing, that's not the idea yet. It's not the thing that started you off in the first place. But what you're doing is you're developing a practice. You're using what you find. You're trying, you're asking, you're trying some more. And over time, as we practice and we learn more about the materials that we are practicing with, and we learn more about ourselves, we start asking different questions. Some of my favorites, like, I wonder what would happen if... I wonder if I took this cool thing that I hadn't even thought about and I put it there. And I tell you, when I was walking through the galleries, I could just imagine some of you saying, what if I glued this onto that? Hadn't started out thinking that way, but I wonder what would happen if. We are guided by our curiosity. We discover what we like and we don't like. We make decisions. We think, oh, this is great. I love doing this. This is just what I imagined it would be. Or we decide, this is crap. I have wasted my time just fooling myself. I'll never be as good as that person. My work will never look like that. It'll never be what I imagined. Maybe we should stop. And sometimes we stop. We might tear up the paper, delete the file, throw out the model, paint over the canvas, toss the phone across the room, not like I've ever done that. And for some, that's it, That's as far as they get. And they don't realize that it's like taking a trip. It's like if you leave here and you're heading home and you get to the end of the road and there's a stop sign, if you think, oh, I guess I should go back, there's a stop sign. And you don't know, no, there's something on the other side of the stop sign. And what you don't know is that meanwhile, something's tunneling underground. It's still there. I mean, I could use the analogy of like a seed, but I've already started on the road thing, so you'll stay with me. It's tunneling there. It's incubating. And so maybe you step away for a minute. It has made you mad. You've thrown the phone, not like I've ever done it. And you step away. You look at it. You walk away. You say, I'm never going to do it again. This is all crap. But suddenly you see that there's something on the other side of the stop sign. And you realize that just meant pause. And you get a, aha, I got it. I could try this thing. And you keep on going. Until that idea you had, that question you had, that spark that has driven you on this journey of curiosity, this thing that was in our head that nobody could see, has become a thing that is outside of us, that others can see or hear or touch, take selfies with, or wear, can walk into, can walk around. It's no longer an idea. It has become concrete. This is the miracle. This is the magic, or at least that's what folk think who haven't been on the journey. Because what we know is that this is the result of our work. It is the manifestation of our curiosity. It is the Word become flesh. And that is worthy of celebration. I stood in these spaces and tears came to my eyes sometimes. I said, wow, this was in somebody's head. And I'm standing in front of it and I am moved. Now, is it exactly what you envisioned? Maybe, maybe not. But it has taken on its own life now. It has changed you in the process. And now it's out here in the world where it can change others. Someone is seeing it, hearing it, touching it, feeling it. Something is changing in the people who are interacting with what was in your head. And somebody's standing in front of it saying, that's so cool. I wonder how they did that. I wonder if I can do that. You have sparked somebody else's creative journey. So are you done? Is that it? Maybe. You might think so. As the elation fades, you might think, yeah, this thing that I made, that I created in my head is great, but I will never be able to do this again. Yeah, I don't even know how I did that. But you're not really done, because there are more ideas, and there are more questions, and there are more materials, and there are more things to explore. So you go back to your easel, your screen, your kitchen, the lab, the garden, to make mistakes, to start over, to engage the world within you and without you with curiosity. And I know this. I know this because for the last 40 years, that is how I have lived my life. So, will you win all the awards? Will you become rich? Will you become famous? Will your name be in lights? I don't know. But what I do know is this. The journey will change you, and if you manifest that thing, it will change other people. And I know if you stop, you'll never know. So keep on going. I am so excited. I am so moved. I am so honored to be here with you and your wonderful, creative, brilliant mind.